Okay, I have my imported gold sitting out here. I've added 150 milliliters of distilled water, and now I'm going to put in 150 milliliters of concentrated nitric acid, and we will attempt to do the first boil. Nitric acid going in. 150 milliliters. We'll go 50-50 with water. Okay. And we're going to add that to our imported gold. And it's already starting to react. And let it cook. You can see it starting to react, and we will just let it cook. We'll stay out here and keep an eye on it. Hopefully we won't get a boil over. As you can see, we're getting a little heat action going, and we're getting a real good reaction. So we'll just let it. Okay, we are 10 minutes into the first reaction. It's still boiling pretty good. You're getting real good fuming. Everything seems under control, so we're just going to let that cook until it cleans up and just about all the fumes are gone. Okay, we are 20 minutes into the first boil. She's still boiling good. As you can see, most of the fumes have gone away. It's just making nice clear fumes now. And what's happening is the nitric acid has been going into the imported gold basically on a microscopic level and dissolving all the silver that I added in and the base metals. Those are all going into solution, and the only thing that's going to remain is the pure gold. When I had the cover on, there was still a little bit of orange in the fumes. I took the cover off and it cleared up, so I don't know if this nitric is quite done yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little while longer. I'm going to cover it back up, and we're going to let it cook a little while longer. Alright, we've been going about a half hour now. As you can see, the solution's really blue. It's still boiling well. The fumes have just about all disappeared. It's pretty clear inside there. I'm going to let it go for about, maybe 10 more minutes, and then we'll probably take it off and go into the second nitric treatment. Okay, it's been 35 minutes now. This beaker is fuming really clear. It's just boiling, basically, I guess, steam coming out of there. What we're going to do is we're going to turn off the heat and let it rest for a bit, and we're going to pour the solution into this flask. I got a 1,000 millimeter flask over here. We're going to pour this solution off into here. We're going to rinse that gold, what's left of it in there, what's left of the in-quart gold. Give it a couple of quick rinses. That'll also go in there. We want to catch all the silver that has come out of the in-quart gold, and then we're going to go into a second treatment. We have looks pretty good. It's all still together. We're going to pour this off into a flask. Okay, I poured off the first solution. There is our gold as it is right now, and I poured off the solution into this flask, and now I'm going to rinse it with a little bit of distilled water. And I gotta get my glove because it's hot. Rinse it out. Try to get that silver solution down. And we'll pour this off into this beaker, rinse water. We'll give it one more rinse. Pour this off into the flask. For the 150 mark. Up there, like that. And we will add 150 milliliters of concentrated nitric acid. Concentrated nitric acid. Going in. About 150 ml. A little bit more. And we'll add that to our 1/4 gold. And we'll put it up on the heat. See, it's already starting to react. We're going to get some smoke out of that pan. Medium high. See, I burnt the table when I put the corningware on the table. And no big deal. It's an old work table. But we'll just let that cook. As you can see, it's already started to react. I just turned the heat on. It's on medium high. And it's starting to react. So we're just going to set the timer and let it cook. We'll check back in 10 or 15 minutes. There goes the fumes. It's starting. As you can see, we're only 5 minutes into the second nitric boil. We got lots of strong fumes here. It's extremely red inside there. There's still a lot of base metals got to be dissolved, so we're just going to let this boil, and we'll let it boil till it clears up. Second boil. Okay, it's been an hour and 50 minutes now on the second boil, and it looks like our solution is pretty much cleared up. So we're going to take this off the heat right now. And we're going to call it a night because it's getting late, but we'll just take it off the heat, let it rest for a minute, and then we're going to pour out this silver solution into this flask with the first boil of the silver solution. And we're going to save that. It's got a lot of silver in it. I don't know, maybe it might have 5 ounces of silver in it by the time we're done. And we're going to save that, and we're going to drop that silver all out later. I'll wash the beaker off with distilled water. And you can see our gold. I don't know if you can see it. We got our golden bottom. Seems like it's nice and brown, so we're getting there. We'll have to do another 1 or 2 nitric boils. Probably do it tomorrow, and we'll continue to get all the base metals out of this in-quarter gold. So that's going to be it for tonight, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Okay, today we're going to be starting the 3rd nitric boil. We boiled it for, we boiled it 2 times. First time was 35 minutes and it cleared up. The second time it went for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I rinsed it off and put it away for last night. This is what we have today. I don't know if you can see that color, but it's brown. It kind of looks like chocolate. So we're getting there, but it's not all the way yet. We're going to need to do probably 2 more boils, but we'll just take them one at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some distilled water in here. About 200 milliliters. Okay, empty it. All right. And we're going to put, we've been going with 150. So we're going to put 150 milliliters of concentrated nitric acid. It's a bitch having to hold the phone and do all this. But anyway, concentrated nitric, you can see it. 150 milliliters. We've done 150 milliliters 3 times. And we'll add this. So it's fuming right away, so we'll take it and put it up on the heat, medium-high heat, and we'll let that start cooking. We'll come back to it in a few minutes and take a look. Alright, it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes that we've been boiling. See the solution. Steam is pretty clear. We're going to turn off the heat. Let it sit for a little bit. And then we will let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to pour it off, give it a little rinse. We're going to pour it off, give it a little rinse, and we'll go into our 4th nitric acid boil. Okay, we just started the 4th boil. It hasn't started boiling yet. I just put it on the fire. We have 200 milliliters of distilled water and 150 milliliters of concentrated nitric acid. Medium-high heat. This is the 4th boil, and we'll just let it cook. And the gold is starting to look good in there. Nice and brown, light brown, almost like a Hershey's Kiss. Nah, even brighter than that. Maybe like baby diarrhea brown. I don't know. I'm liking it. Let's let it boil. Alright, this solution has been boiling about a half hour now. This is the fourth boil. As you can see, the solution has pretty much cleared up. I mean, just a slight hint of blue. Just about all the base metals have been removed. Let me get a little bit more light on here. Just about all the base metals have been removed. You can see the gold sitting in the bottom there. What I'm going to do, and it's boiling kind of clear, I'm going to let it go about another 15 minutes. I'm going to save, I think I'm going to save this solution because there's probably some still good nitric in there. So I'll save this for my next boil, and then I'll rinse it out, and I'm going to boil it in distilled water and clean everything out. That'll be the next step. Alright, it's been about 45 minutes. This boil is done. As you can see, the solution is fairly clear, just a hint of blue to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the solution off the heat. Turn the heat off. And I'm going to save this nitric acid for my next refining. There's probably still good nitric acid in there. And then I'm going to boil this down with distilled water and clean it up. Okay, so I poured off the fourth boil solution into this flask. I'm going to save that for my next refining. I'll use that up. There's probably some good nitric acid still in there. And look at this gold. It's a nice golden brown color. And it actually looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some distilled water. And just rinse that real quick. Get my silver solution flask. And that beaker is still hot. So I'm going to rinse this. And pour off the solution into my nitric jug. It's just distilled water rinse. And I'm going to give it one more rinse. Try and get most of the blue out of there, most of the silver. That'll go in my used nitric. Now we're going to give this a distilled water boil. A couple hundred milliliters in there. Turn the heat on high and let it boil. Isn't that pretty? Looking just like it's supposed to. Okay, we've rinsed the gold twice. by boiling it in distilled water. Let it boil for 5 or 10 minutes, a couple times. The boiled distilled water came out crystal clear. So what I'm going to do now that I know there's none of the old treatment left inside there, I'm going to do one more nitric acid boil just to make sure I got everything out. And I'm going to use 100 milliliters of water and 100 milliliters of nitric acid and bring that to a boil and see what we get. So distilled water, put 100 ml. Concentrated nitric acid. (100 ml). And this should be the last boil. Put the gold up on the heat. Gold up on the heat. Made a dilute nitric acid. Pour it onto the gold. And let it cook. Alright, we got the heat on. It hasn't started to boil yet. I just turned the heat on. If this, see a little bit of fume formation there, but I'm not really seeing any color. I don't really want to see any color. I want that to stay nice and clear. But if it stays nice and clear, we're going to let it boil a little while. Then I'll cut the heat. I'm going to save this solution in my used nitric acid. Use that in the next refining. I'll use it up. Nitric acid is freaking expensive. And okay, well, we just started this, so let it boil and let's see what happens. So my 5th nitric boil, I let it go for 10 minutes. You can see the solution. It's clear. No blue. It is just, try to find something with a white background. It's just clear. So we're gonna save this nitric. This will definitely be used in the next refining. We're gonna save that into this beaker. We're gonna rinse that a couple times. Rinse this a couple times. And we're going to call it a night tonight. And this gold will be, whenever I get to it, ready for Aqua Regia. Oh, it's so pretty. Came out good for my first time.